Yo, what's up, boomers? I'm back with another guide, and today I'm going to be talking about how to optimize your healing with this shitty ass spec that nobody plays, Holy Priest. The boss I'm going to be talking about today is XT, which in my opinion is the hardest boss to heal properly, at least if you play hybrid. But for regular Holy Priest, it's still pretty hard to heal, so let me break this one down for you real quick. First thing to note about this boss is that it is extremely mana intensive. So if you have any mana trinkets like Spark of Cope or Pandora's Plea, then definitely be using that shit. When it comes to glyphs, you'll be using the standard Guardian Spirit, Circle of Healing, and Prayer of Healing glyphs. If you play hybrid, you get to be super woke on this boss because you get to use Glyph of Renew. But as regular Holy Priest, you'll probably just be better off using Glyph of Guardian Spirit, so that you can use it on the people who have the debuff during the tantrums. Speaking of tantrums, let's talk about how you're going to deal with those first. 3 spells: Prayer of Mending, Circle of Healing, and Prayer of Healing. Those are what you're going to want to use, but make sure that you also throw up a Renew and Guardian Spirit on whoever has a Gravity Bomb or a Light Bomb during the tantrum, so that they don't get shreked. Because they will. Don't use Surge of Light though. For the most part, it's the Holy Pally and the Disc Priest's job to keep the debuff person alive during the tantrums. So I would not recommend using Surge of Lights to heal the people while a tantrum is happening, unless it'll literally save their life. It's much more important to be spamming AoE heals as much as possible to not fall behind on all of that raid damage. Now, some people might wonder why Renew spam isn't good here, since the tantrum is technically ticking damage, and Renew is really good at healing ticking damage. Well, there's a few reasons why Renew is not good here. The first is that it takes too long to ramp up, so if you react to the tantrum with Renew spam, the tantrum will literally be over by the time you've gotten all of your Renews out, so no good. Alternatively, if you pre-renew the raid before the tantrum, you're just wasting a fuck ton of mana, since pre-renewing does a lot of overhealing. And on bosses that are extremely mana intensive, you must avoid overhealing at all costs. Every bit of overhealing that you do is wasted mana. And if every healer is spamming overhealing, then every healer will go before the fight's over, which means you're all screwed. The second reason why Renew spam is bad is because Tantrum only lasts 10 seconds, and Renew lasts 15, so no matter which way you slice it, your Renews are going to overheal. The third reason why Renew spam is bad is because the ticking damage hits really hard. It's not like Saffron where everyone's getting tickled to death. Since the ticking damage hits really hard, that means Prayer of Healing won't overheal, which makes it much more of a viable choice. Just keep that in mind for Hodir as well, because this exact same kind of short-term, heavy, raid-wide ticking damage occurs on that boss also. The last thing I want to talk about regarding the tantrums is the very first one. The first tantrum will happen before the heart phase if your DPS sucks, and immediately after the heart phase if your DPS doesn't suck. If you get the tantrum immediately after the heart phase, you can technically throw out a few preemptive renews for that one, since you'll literally be sitting at full mana going into it. Anyways, after you cast that Prayer of Healing, you're going to follow it up with a renew on whoever's debuffed with the Light Bomb, and then throw out your Circle of Healing. Here's the kinky part. Depending on your strategy, the pets might get ass blasted by the Light Bomb debuff, so what I like to do is throw my Prayer of Mending on the pets. That way it will bounce between the pets and the person with the Light Bomb debuff. I also use Renew on the pets to keep them alive, since there really isn't a whole lot of raid damage happening outside of the tantrums. Technically, it's the shaman's job to keep the pets alive, since shamans are one-trick ponies, but if the shaman isn't doing it, then you can do it instead. Alternatively, if you don't give a fuck about pet healing, you could probably go back to using spell power trinkets instead of regen trinkets, since you'll be spending less mana. The choice is yours. Other than that, make sure you're using Surge of Lights whenever there aren't any Prayer of Healing or Circle of Healing opportunities present. Try to keep Renew up on the tank, and use Divine Hymn without Bloodlust. That part's important. If you use Divine Hymn during Lust, you just wasted it. Most likely, your guild will be lusting during the end of the fight, so your best bet would be to use Divine Hymn on the first or second hard mode tantrums or you can even use it between the tantrums if you feel like you need to catch up on healing. That's it. That's the video, guys. Now I expect to see at least 7k HPS from each and every one of you. I will be checking the logs, and I will literally report you to the authorities if I don't see fat healing numbers. Especially since this is one of the only bosses where disc priests don't cuck you and fuck you real hard. So heal good. Bye bye now.